super dangerous, yeah. Yeah, look at that.
The Amazon rainforest is not for the faint-hearted. Some of the most dangerous snakes in the world.
You know, you're in winds of 90, 100, 110 miles an hour.
The Gulf Coast of Florida is bracing for a direct hit.
Hopefully we get into the eye.
We can't afford any mistakes, yeah.
Very unstable and slippery.
We're transforming environments that will never go back to where they used to be.
If bees disappear, the world has less than a year to survive.
Every sample we collect can help to save human lives. So that's all your stuff here?
Yeah, so this is, well, it's not all of it, but you know it's a luxury expedition if you don't have to cut your toothbrush in half.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I haven't cut mine yet. I'm Heidi, I'm a glaciologist, and I love ice. I love ice and snow.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Klaus is a journalist, but also a scientist who founded a charity called Project Pressure. So Klaus called me a few months ago. He told me, look, Heidi, I really want to go back to Uganda to see the glaciers of the Rwenzori Mountains. Tiny, tiny glaciers located between Uganda and DRC. As soon as I got this phone call, I told Klaus I would totally clear up my schedule to join you on that expedition. The few days before leaving on an expedition, to me, are the most stressful times. I have a lot of packing to do, and most importantly, I need to double, triple check all my different instruments. So the goal of the expedition is basically to map the beautiful glaciers of the Rwenzoris. I mean, this has never been done before. So we are truly pioneers traveling to probably one of the most extreme and one of the most remote environments on Earth. We use two different tools. We use drones to basically take a lot of pictures of the surface of the glaciers. Putting the pictures together gives us a 3D model of the surface of the ice. But then we also need another instrument to measure what's happening beneath the surface of these glaciers, and this is where I come in. We need to totally lay this out, so I don't know if you want to take one end.
You just tell me what to do. You're the boss.
You see the little sockets here.
Ready?
Sure, let's go.
My job is to pull a ground-penetrating radar, which is an instrument that basically sends radio waves through the ice, and we measure how long it takes for the radio waves to travel through the entire ice thickness. Oh yeah, things are happening, for sure. If they take a long time to travel, it means that there is a lot of ice underneath our feet, and if they don't take a lot of time, it means the ice is very thin.
My name is Rosa Vasquez Espinosa. I'm a Peruvian scientist and I work in the Amazon rainforest. We're heading to the northern Peruvian Amazon, deep into the jungle, into a community that is called San Francisco, where I'm meeting the indigenous leaders so that we can go searching for stingless bees at night. To look for stingless bees in the middle of the jungle is like to look for a needle in a haystack.
Gracias, maestrito. Pasen. Con este trabajo vamos a hacer el primer mapa de abejas sin aguijón.
So we have been working on creating a map of stingless bees around Peru. I'm hoping that by more people being aware of stingless bees, that we can directly regenerate the Amazon rainforests. I have seen stingless bees massively increase the crop of local fruits. I have seen bees help even improve the quality of soils. The bees are disappearing, and we have got to get this data so we can advocate for legal protection.
Esto.
Acá tienes cámara viéndote porque es serio.
Yeah, hurricanes are just harsh environments for operating radar. I mean, it's windy, it's rainy, there's a lot of, obviously wind-driven rain, wind-driven salt water. It just gets into things.
It's pretty rocky in here. You're in winds of 90, 100, 110 miles an hour. So there's a bit of a shake.
My name is Karen Kasiba, and I'm an atmospheric scientist. My research really depends on getting data in the field. So I study what the winds are like in tornadoes and hurricanes. And that means that I take out these radar trucks and I take out all these other different pieces of instrumentation to either surround the weather that I'm looking at, like tornadoes, or to go right into the storm like hurricanes to better get the data and better understand how the winds are like near the surface. So the research that I do, I think, is very important. Weather affects everybody. So I'm really trying to understand some of this high-impact weather better. Floods, tornadoes, hurricanes. And understanding it better allows people to make better forecasts, and better forecasts let people be better prepared.
Pelotita, ¿verdad? Hay como un circulito. 30.
We are testing our scientific equipment, and we're also making a plan with the indigenous leader and team that is going to be joining us. So they also learn how to use the equipment, which is going to be key for our work.
Al escuchar el ruido de las abejas, naturalmente, cómo ellos viven en el bosque.
¿Ya usted nos va a llevar?
Sí, yo les voy a llevar,
Ya.
para que ustedes conozcan y escuchen el ruido naturalmente, cómo las abejas suenan como si fuera una fábrica en la noche.
Así como hacer un concierto va a estar ya en la selva.
We need to go at night because it is the local tradition to search for bees at nights. That is how the indigenous leader learned from his grandfather, who learned from his grandfather. The Amazon rainforest is not for the faint-hearted. It can definitely get very dangerous. In the area where we are in the northern Peruvian Amazon, this is an area rich in some of the most dangerous snakes in the world. It can get extremely hot and extremely humid, so you have to watch out for extreme dehydration. You have to navigate virgin paths, which means you really don't know where you're going. You're building a path as you go.
Piso.
¿Cómo? Hay que anotar cómo regresamos.
So we've had to make the decision now to go back because it has been a few hours. It's almost past midnight and the whole team is exhausted. And it is also dangerous if people are starting to get sleepy or tired, because we have got to be mindful and fully aware at every step here. I feel a bit bad telling the team that we have got to come tomorrow, and I know everybody was hoping to find them tonight, but in a way it reminds us how hard this work is, and it reminds us of the challenges that will come with it as we continue to expand our work.
Finally, we are in Uganda. I very rarely start expeditions surrounded by forest. Usually where I work, there are no trees. There's only ice and snow. I feel way out of my comfort zone, but I feel comfortable because I know that I have the very best possible people around me. I have Klaus, I have the local experts, the local mountain guides, the porters. They don't feel intimidated at all by what we're trying to do. There are many risks associated with an expedition like this in these really high mountains. One thing that I always have at the back of my head is the possibility of avalanches. Many years ago, when I was a young student studying glaciology, I actually found myself in a terrible situation. I triggered my own avalanche that buried both me and a friend, and luckily we both survived. I still suffer from a lot of pains stemming from that really traumatic experience. Every time I think about mountains, it kind of reminds me of this deeply traumatic experience. And my goal is to be really aware of our surroundings and to make sure we don't get into troubles, because I know what it feels like to get in trouble. Hiking through a very dense jungle is overwhelming, but it's also incredibly beautiful. As we continue going up the mountains, things are truly starting to shift. The air is starting to get a little bit colder. We feel the humidity even more. There is fog dancing around those trees. It feels like we're surrounded by kind of like very old landscapes that has been totally left untouched by human civilization. So it's a really humbling experience.
Tonight, we're tracking Tropical Storm Helene as it churns and strengthens over the warm waters of the Caribbean. We're about 48 hours away from landfall, but the Gulf Coast of Florida is bracing for a direct hit, possibly as a major Category 3 hurricane.
On this trip, I worked very closely with Josh Worman, who's my colleague. He's the one who invented these radars, and we have very similar research interests.
There's a breeze.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
I know, eventually.
I don't want to whack you with it. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, almost exactly 20 feet to the top. Okay.
We get there a couple of days before the trucks and the instrumentation get there, the rest of the team. And we get there early because what we need to do is we need to find sites for the instruments to be parked at to collect data throughout the hurricane. There's always a big debate about what makes a good site. In general, what we're looking for is a site that stays above water. So one of the big things with hurricanes beyond the wind is really the storm surge and the flooding. You want to be able to get out of the location that you're parking the truck. We had 2 different locations that we thought would be good deployment locations for our instrumentation. One was a little bit farther west, and then one was near Perry, Florida, at the Perry Airport. We really try to wait till the last minute to put things in place because we want to be very confident on where the hurricane's going to make landfall. We wait, and then at the last possible minute we put down our instruments.
Hey Klaus,
Hey,
is that the pass?
yeah, this is the pass.
We finally reached Scott Elliott Pass, and from the village, from the community, it has taken us 4 days of walking to make it here, but we're almost there, just another couple of hours of more hiking to reach the Elena Huts, to reach base camp.
You can put it over there. Thank you.
I mean, to me, the highlight of the expedition is working and spending time with the communities. They are the true experts of the Rwenzori Mountains, and they're so profoundly attached to these glaciers and to these mountains that I felt very much at home working with them and sharing this passion for ice.
Okay. Well, this is why it's nice to be in this hut.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see what's going on.
And the fog is back.
My God, 2 minutes later, it would have been too late.
Yeah.
The Rwenzori Mountains are truly incredible because they are the highest and most permanent source of the River Nile. So all the water coming from these mountains is being used by millions of people all the way to Egypt. So understanding how much ice is left in these mountains is crucial because it gives us information about how much longer will we be able to benefit from the water coming down from these glaciers. So base camp is where our research expedition actually truly begins. Our plan is to hike a couple of hours to reach the Stanley Plateau, which is the largest ice mass in the Raspberry Mountains. As we woke up, I turn on my headlamp and I notice that everything around me is covered with many, many inches of snow. And I can't believe it because it's already been so difficult to make it to base camp. I realized that it's going to be impossible for us to make it to the glaciers with all that snow around us.
It's a lot of snow, huh?
I think it's super tricky. It's going to take us twice as long to get up there. And it's, yeah, super dangerous. Yeah. I mean, for the first trip to the ice, we have to be super careful. We can't afford any mistakes. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
No.
La sábila es muy buena, mamita, para la inflamación.
I grew up spending a lot of time with my grandmother, who is a healer, who learned a lot from her own grandmother, who also was a healer. I would see my grandmother collect the seeds or roots or leaves and see her processing those in our kitchen, and I would engage in that as well. So I would be learning without knowing about chemistry already when I was 4 or 5.
La miel que yo estoy estudiando de las abejas sin aguijón es medicinal. En la selva, en la sierra, se sabe que es medicinal, pero nadie había estudiado cómo o por qué o cuál es la ciencia que verifica que es medicinal. Cogen estas medicinas de las plantas, así como tú, y terminan formando esta miel que le llaman el líquido milagroso.
I just grew up getting to see her wisdom and how she cared for the natural world, plants and animals, and having so much curiosity to understand the science behind, I think is what drove me to become a scientist.
Huele también.
Sí.
So it's the second night and we've had to trek back into the rainforest.
It's been over 2 hours and the team is absolutely exhausted. Everybody's hurting. I actually think we're a bit lost. And I don't even know how we're gonna find the stingless bees. There are a trillion sounds around us. I think we're just gonna have to keep on trying.
Un momento, silencio. Creo que este es el sonido de las abejas.
So it seems like Heriberto has heard the bees. I genuinely cannot hear them just yet, but I trust him.
Aquí le escucho cerca ya el ruido. Un momentito, esperan, voy a localizarle bien para ver si le encuentro, les llamo. Aquí está el nido.
¿Lo encontró?
Le encontré de la papuchita.
Wow. No las veo, pero las escucho fuerte.
Sí.
Esta especie es una de las que hace las mieles más medicinales.
Sí.
We finally found, after many hours, the stingless bee. We have to be very careful, very accurate, annotate every detail very precisely, because we have got to have precise information of the location, the environmental conditions in which these bees exist, so that we can monitor how climate change, deforestation are impacting them. This is how we get to save the stingless bee in the Amazon.
We have important new information just coming in about Hurricane Helene as 75 million Americans across Florida and the Southeast brace for impact tomorrow night.
We've put everything in their final positions. After some discussion about moving west, we've decided to stay with our east position based on the track of the storm, so we think we're in a pretty good location to collect some data. It's going to be a long night, so hopefully everything stays up and operational throughout the night. It's always challenging to keep radars operating in very strong winds, but hopefully we get into the eye. That would be really great because that's a great time for people to go to the bathroom, but also a great time, give the radars, they're not scanning so hard in the wind, and then we also get to see what's going on in the inner eye wall structure. My first hurricane mission that I was in, one of the people I was with really had to go to the bathroom and open the door, just not even thinking, and the door just got caught and it got torqued, and it took 3 of us to get the door shut again, and basically everything in the vehicle, notes, pillows, blankets, everything just flew out. And that person did not end up going to the bathroom.
I'm getting closer.
There's 79 millibars here at Dow 6.
Hurricane Helene hit at night, so it's not like you're watching things really. It's dark out. You're watching the rain, fly past your headlights, and you're sitting in your vehicle getting rocked and rolled as the hurricane's making landfall. And it gets progressively worse and worse as you get closer to the eye wall of the hurricane. For us, our data collection went wonderfully. We tried something a little bit different with co-locating our radars and doing some sort of specialized scanning, and we deployed our instruments, our surface instruments, in a different way. So we did something different than we usually do, but we think it's going to complement a lot of the other data sets that we've collected.
What we're doing here is taking a look at a hive that it's actually quite ready for us to duplicate. That means that we can get now 2 hives from a single hive. And actually the science shows that once you find a hive from a tree and you extract it from it, you never need to be accessing the tree anymore. You can obtain up to 32 hives, really turning the whole process of stingless beekeeping really sustainable.
Aquí la diferencia de estas abejas con la abeja asesina es de que la abeja asesina solamente tiene una reina, de tal manera que si la reina muere, el nido deja de existir.
So we've launched the first training program for stingless beekeeping women in the Amazon. So here the women are learning more about how to care for stingless bees, how to raise them sustainably, and how to generate income that at the same time literally protects the bees and the Amazon.
En este nido va la puerta de ingreso de las abejitas.
2 in 3 foods that we eat daily depend on bees. If bees disappear, the world has less than a year to survive. Out of all of the bees that exist in the world, native bees are amongst the most important. And stingless bees are the native bees of the Amazon rainforest.
Gracias.
First steps on Sandy.
So I'm finally stepping on the glacier, and there is not 1 second to waste. I gather my team around me and they help me to pull together the radar equipment. Pulling a radar on a glacier at this altitude is definitely very hard work. So I need help to put the backpack on my shoulders. And as soon as my guides help me to put that heavy backpack on my shoulders, I feel my back absolutely seizing. I have to make a decision in a split second. Am I gonna be able to pull the radar or not? And to be fair, I don't have any other options than doing the science. I take a big breath and I just start walking 1 step at a time, pulling this radar equipment. And every step I make, I can feel pins and needles in my lower back. It's taking every gram of energy I have left in my body, but still I keep going. And I can see that the data we're collecting is amazing. And so that gives me, fantastic motivation to just keep going. Even though I'm in a lot of pain, I absolutely have to keep going. Let's just go down, I guess, towards the weather station, no? Our data that we're processing right now will probably show how quickly these glaciers are melting in response to climate change. So we not only want the communities to use the data, but the entire world to really understand the value of these glaciers. If we lose these glaciers of the Rwenzori, not only we lose a big part of the identity of the people from the Rwenzori Mountains, but it's so much more than this. We lose a part of our human culture, of our human identity. We're transforming environments that will never go back to where they used to be.
It's been approved in first round of voting. Everyone voted in favor. Everyone. Yeah. I can't. I'm just in shock. I could cry.